I can turn into a fish. Chapter 22, Smash. My sports car is brand new, I don't have insurance. The young man said in response to the police officer's suggestion. Police officers, I wouldn't smear another man's reputation for no reason, and I don't care about this little bit of money, but this kid didn't even apologize. I can't get over what he did. The road is very narrow and I wasn't driving by the side. It's him who had no eyes and swerved over and scratched my car, the sports car young man insisted. Each of you takes half the responsibility. Go to your Ford's store to get your car looked at, and you also have to pay for half of it. One of the young police officers said. Chu Xian said to the crowd with a frown, Big brothers and sisters, please, if any of you saw what happened just now, please speak up. He hit me and I'm not at fault. Please. It should be the young man's fault since his car bumped the moped from behind. Suddenly, a quiet voice came from behind him. Chu Xian was delighted and said in a hurry, This big sister in the back, please tell the police what happened. Big sis, you'll be legally responsible for what you say, you can't say should. Did you see what happened with your own eyes? A young policeman said loudly with a frown on his face. This. The woman in the back stuttered then remained silent. Since there are no witnesses, both parties should take half of the responsibility, the young police officer announced. Chu Xian looked at this policeman and frowned, asking with a nasty expression, Police officers, are you sure this is the final judgment? Yes, you two split the costs. If there's any remaining doubt, you can make an appeal. The young policeman nodded in affirmation. No problem. The sports car young man saw the frown on the police officer's face and nodded, saying angrily, I'm so unlucky today. Split all the expenses? Chu Xian asked again with a dark expression. Yes, you can just pay this young man's repair fee worth tens of thousands and everything will be fine, the young policeman said, nodding. Okay. Chu Xian took a deep breath. Please answer, how much is your sports car? 1,500,000, just got it 2 days ago. Look at the deep scratch, you need to pay me 20 to 30,000. The sports car young man said, glaring at him. Okay, you said 1,500,000. Chu Xian nodded. Going to the side of the road, he leaned down and picked up a rock. What are you doing? What do you want? The young man saw him pick up the rock and was shocked. He couldn't help but take several steps back. What are you doing? Put down the rock. Several police officers gathered around immediately. Don't worry, I won't do anything. Since we need to split the costs, I'll let him pay me back. Chu Xian squeezed through, walked up to the luxury car and threw the rock at it. Peng. The rock landed heavily on the car and caused a dip in the surface. Chu Xian smashed the sports car again. Do you want to die? The young man screamed as he watched his car getting smashed, running over with red eyes. What are you doing? Stop right now. Don't you know this is illegal? The police officers were dumbfounded for a second then hurriedly rushed over. The crowd was stunned by the young man's actions and didn't know how to react. What are you doing? Put down the rock now. The police officers yelled. Police officers, since you all agreed we had to split the costs, this is what I'm doing now. Chu Xian shrugged, I'm just getting even. Walking to his moped, Chu Xian picked up the aquarium and looked at the two koi fish. An evil smile appeared on his face. Suddenly using his control power, the two swimming koi fish suddenly stopped and flipped over, for all intents and purposes, they were dead. Since we need to split the responsibility, we need to talk about the issue of money. Chu Xian looked at the sports car young man with disdain, placing the aquarium in front of him under the confused look of the police officers. I have here a lion queen and she koi fish, each not worth less than 1,500,000. If you don't believe me, you can get them authenticated. I don't want your money, I just want to smash your car. Chu Xian said as he took out a cigarette. The policeman exchanged glances, at a complete loss. The young man looked at Chu Xian in disbelief. They really are Lion Queen and Shishi. Unbelievable. An onlooker by the side saw the two koi fish in the aquarium, shouted in surprise and ran over in a rush. Beautiful, so beautiful, champion fish, these are actually champion fish. The 50-ish-year-old man bent down and examined the two koi fish with great care. These two koi fish cost at least 3 million, even 4 million isn't unheard of. The colors are more beautiful than the champion Lion Queen 2 years ago in Shenzhen. Such a shame, these two koi fish are about to die. After hearing this middle-aged man's sigh, all the people gathered around gasped, looking at the two fish in surprise. The young man's face blackened, and he sucked in a cold breath, staring numbly at the two fish. Police officers, if you don't believe this bystander, you can take the fish to be authenticated. Let's say the two koi fish are valued at around 3 million. His car is 1,500,000, so this whole ordeal can end if I smash his car. Any objections? Chu Xian turned to look at the young man mockingly. Do you have any objections? If you do, you can pay me back, but I'd personally prefer to smash your car. Glancing around, Chu Xian found a car repair shop and went over to get a hammer from the stunned boss. Walking back to the car, he looked at the young man with a gaze full of derision. I wasn't going to bother with you for hitting me, it's just two fish. But you actually dared to say I scratched your car, heh. Look now, this is what's become of your luxury car. Chu Xian said as he brought the hammer down heavily. You. The young man glared at Chu Xian with rapidly changing expressions. He was extremely embarrassed but didn't dare to stop him. Having his car smashed was much better than having to pay 1,500,000 RMB. Peng, peng. The sound didn't stop and the fancy car was covered with crevices, completely changing its appearance. Whew. After about 5 minutes, Chu Xian got tired and took a breather. Glancing at the stunned audience, he returned the hammer. Walking up to the young man, Chu Xian asked with a smile, "Okay, are you satisfied now? Do you still want to figure this out? The police officers are all here. But if you have no further questions, I'll take my leave." You. The young man looked at him with a dark face but couldn't say a word. Then I'm leaving. Chu Xian gave a meaningful smile to him and the policeman, especially towards the two young police who arrived late to the scene. Then he propped up the moped, and after checking that it still worked, he sat on it and drove away.